is the rulership. He is all-knowing. He is all-pervading. The protector of the universe, the eternal ruler. No one else is there efficient to govern the world eternally. Sa tanmayo hi amrita isha gnyo sarvago bhuvanasyasya gopta yaishesya jagato nityameva nanyad hetur vidyate ishanaya. These words are from the Shvetashvatara Upanishad. Today we discuss 11 forms of superior devotion, or what is called para-bhakti, superior forms of devotion. What is bhakti? Bhakti is love. Ordinary love? Yes, ordinary love, when it's directed to God, it becomes bhakti. So, bhakti is love of God. Sri Ramakrishna says, what makes this ordinary love bhakti or devotion? Sri Ramakrishna says, first it is nishtha, steadfastness. After steadfastness, this nishtha becomes bhakti, devotion. Bhakti becomes bhava. It becomes even more mature. And bhava becomes mahabhava, great maturity. And that is converted into what is called prema, the very essence of love. Saying, through this prema, this superior love, one can tie God with the rope of prema. Yes. So God can be tied with this love. Swami Vivekananda, in his opening lines of his Bhakti Yoga, says, Bhakti Yoga is a real, genuine search after the Lord. A search beginning, continuing, and ending in love. One single moment of the madness of extreme love to God brings us eternal freedom. So just a moment of this madness of love, extreme love, will bring us to freedom. As we can see, it is one, but its manifestations are many. And some of the authors of the Bhakti aphorisms have said that it comes in various forms, and Narada says it's 9 forms. So ordinarily, what do we mean by bhakti or devotion or love for God? So it is Narada, in his famous aphorism, says that bhakti is supreme love for God. When we are directing our love to things of the world, that is ordinary love. But that same love, when directed towards a higher ideal, a reality of God, it becomes bhakti. It cannot be described in words. I mean, you cannot articulate it. It manifests in certain worthy aspirants. Yes, it comes sometimes like a storm. it gathers all that momentum, of course, over and over again, and then slowly it comes. It is not just ordinary desire, but it is something that controls desires, etc. People equate desire with love and desire with bhakti. That, the aphorist says, it itself is a controlling power. Because we think of love as wanton, kind of, or some directed. Yeah, but that itself, within love, there is a controlling power. And we can see it, how it is displayed in the world. When you love somebody or something, you're also very controlled. You watch everything that you say and do. So what is love? Yeah, so love is one of the greatest powers that every soul has. People say, what do we have? Okay, we are born with, we come with nothing, we go with nothing, empty-handed. No, you're born with love. You live in that, and when you go along with that love. That is the very essence of the soul. So, metaphysically, we say, Vedanta says, it is one with existence. It's called Satyam and Priyam. Priya is what is love. So Vedanta says there's something called Asti and Bhati and Priya. So Vedanta equates love with existence itself. It's not only just a power in your soul. It's a power in the world outside. It's the only one power. And he's saying, we do not know. Yes, you know it. You have it. You have not exercised it. That's all. When love becomes narrowed, it becomes hideous. It becomes fanatical. And when it expands, it's elevating. The scriptures say, you must approach reality through a fine, one-pointed, subtle intellect. That is the street cleaner, as Swami Vivekananda says. It cleans off everything. It removes all the dross. It removes all the things that are superfluous or not essential to one's existence. So the intellect is very important in proceeding to know the reality. But here we see love itself is a much more superior way to understand the reality. And that's why Vedanta also equates it with consciousness. That which is conscious is love. Now we have the strange idea that the reality is high and dry, higher above and dry. It cannot be. That cannot be reality. Reality has to have the essence of love. It is love, it is consciousness, it is bliss. Okay. So it's saying the reality of God can be easily approached through love than through yoga or the intellect. Why? Because it's a most natural thing that we have. You don't have to acquire it. In many forms of yoga, what happens is one has to practice a great deal to have the basic, you can say, requisites to proceed. In this, you don't need to. You already have it. There is no age. Anybody can do it. Everybody can do it. There is no eligibility criteria. So it is your own nature. And if it is your own nature, it's a nature of the nature. And if this is so, then it has to be the nature of God also. There are people who, God is inexplicable. Yeah. But you feel it. If you feel love, you're feeling God. To unravel what this real nature is, this love in us, every religion has evolved a huge set of doctrines and dogmas. All philosophies, all poets, we are kind of enamored with this idea of this love. And from saints to sinners and, everybody, the common person, has tried to understand this. Because don't realize we can actually understand things through love. You cannot understand love through your intellect. It's much, much deeper. Vedanta also speaks of oneness. And what does it mean by oneness? What makes people one? It is again love. So love makes for oneness. And non-love makes for, as we know, diversity and differences. Wherever there is love, there is life. Has to. And it is seen not only in the world of the humans, but all across. You will find it in animals and birds and even plants. You will find this. So love and life are, you can say, the obverse and reverse of the same thing. You cannot have life without love. Or you cannot have love without life. Okay. So that is, as I say, the scriptures say, that is a source of joy. People, they put you on the wrong foot, and when they say, try to understand what is life. What is life? If you ask anybody, what's life? And if you can approach this understanding through love, then you're on very safe grounds. So we have this sense of mystery, which, as I said, is tried by all the religions and every philosophy to be unraveled. This will remain forever a mystery. But why? It will remain a mystery till it is not directed towards God. And when it's not directed towards God, it's going to be like that. So we see the display of this love, bhakti, all across creation. And if it is there in the effects, then the cause also has to have that love. Swami Vivekananda, in one of his translations of it's called Nasadiya Sukta. It's a hymn, popularly translated as the hymn of creation. And I don't know how old it is, 5, 6, 7,000 years? We don't know. It forms part of the Rig Veda, one of the earliest extant human composition. So in that, Swami Vivekananda translates it as just a part of it. At first, in darkness, hidden darkness lay, undistinguished as one mass of water. Then that which lay in void thus covered, a glory did forth put by tapas. First, love rose, the primal seed of the mind. The sages have seen all this in their hearts, shifting existence from non-existence. Its rays above, below, and sideways spread. Creative then became the glory, with self-sustaining principle below and creative energy above. So here we get the first glimpse that this is not only the primal seed of the world, but also of the mind. The mind itself has arisen from this. The first evolute, as they say. The first love rose, the primal seed of the mind. Swami Shivananda, who was the brother disciple of Swami Vivekananda, one time he says, this is a hymn of creation, but it is also experience. This is an experience of samadhi. When you go into the highest samadhi, I mean the genuine samadhi, you experience this. So it is not something which is there in the books or in just literature or in words. It's an experience. And that experience has been authenticated over and over again for we don't know how many years again. So sages sifting in their hearts existence and non-existence. This is what happens. It is beyond the categories of even existence and non-existence. Love is even before all this. Then comes the mind, and then comes, in another place he says, from thence down floweth the river causal, wearing the form of desire radiant, its heaving waters angrily roaring, the constant roar, I am, I am. So love precedes this feeling of existence, I am. That it is more just am. The feeling that of existence comes as am, or being, pure being. And I am. So this was in the beginning, this is experienced. There are people who, they have a near-death experience. Many people. Now it has become, the taboo has been dissipated. They're not called crackpots. So a near-death experience, and when they return, there is a common theme amongst them. They just say that the basis of this world is love. You read any near-death experience of people across cultures. This is one common theme that they say, that the plan of the world is love. And we talk about the divine plan, and what's the plan of the universe. This is the plan of the universe. They experience that. And after that, there is no more fear. Love knows no fear. The Swami Vivekananda gives an example. A mother is walking down the street and she sees a kind of a threat, like a dog coming. She'll flee. Another day, she's with a child and the dog attacks. Do you think that she's going to run away? She's going to first protect the child. She'll be in the mouth of that dog if the dog bites. Love knows no fear. So love, this is what Swami Vivekananda was saying, that the basis of this plan, of the divine plan, is love, is bhakti. All this while I was trying to get into that it is there in all of us, everywhere. It is the basis of this universe. It is the root of this universe, and the universe will end in love. So people are living their lives frightened, delusional. What will happen to me when I die? If you believe in yourself that this is your nature, all these things will just disappear. But coming down to how do we approach God through love? But the other nature of love is, the aphorist says, Amrita Swarupacha. It is of the nature of immortality. That love is of the nature of immortality. And then he says, it is without attributes, without base desires. It goes on increasing every moment. It is an unbroken inner experience. It is subtler than the subtlest. The long aphorism, Gunarahitam, Kamanarahitam, etc. We won't go into this, but this is what it is. And though it is an experience, yet, it's like a dumb person trying to tell you what that chocolate tastes like. It's like that. And then the person with experiences will keep on speaking about it, trying to articulate it. And that's why they're saying, attaining that, one sees only that, hears only that, speaks of that alone, thinks of that alone. In a way, it completely captures your mind, your imagination, your everything. I want to capture, another word is it transforms. It transforms how you see this world. Yes, once you experience that, your perceptions of this world, perceptions of yourself, and the perception of God all change. Because these three things in Vedanta are linked. You, nature, and God. So the perception completely changes of these three factors. Let us come down to how the various forms manifest, forms of love. Now, this might seem simplistic, the way it is described. But you must look at it from two standpoints. One is the individual standpoint and the universal standpoint. Because both are valid and stand on the same logic. If there is no universal, there is no individual. And if there is no individual, there is no universal. So love also is something like that. So when it is directed to an individual, say a form of God or a goddess, and then in its universal aspect, that form has become all-pervading. So the first is, though supreme bhakti is one, it manifests in 11 forms. Love of the glorification of the blessed Lord's blessed qualities. And we see this all over. In every religion, in every philosophy, there are these things that people are speaking about. Oh, the Lord is like this, and most of our prayers are nothing but just a glorification of God. It manifests, is the first manifestation. The second is love of God's beauty. So Sri Ramakrishna says, when I saw the Divine Mother, her one glance makes the whole world beautiful. Imagine what the Divine Mother herself is. She is beauty. And that captures the imagination of the devotee. Not only you'll say, oh, my goddess is so beautiful. That, as I said, the universal aspect is that devotee will see everything as beautiful. Even the small bug, it actually is very beautiful. You'll scream about it, but it's very beautiful. And you'll see the beauty of God displayed in nature. Here you are, again, like I said, it's individual and collective or universal. Your love has not now divided these two things. Love of worship, puja asakti is called. But puja means like you worship, but worship that individual form of God or goddess, and you worship the entire nature, the visible nature. You stand in reverence in front of nature. Love of constant remembrance. This comes kind of naturally. Those who fall in love, they know. Once they fall in love, they constantly think about the beloved. So it is like, it's not just an undercurrent, it is there, it takes over everything. So this love, when it rises within us, makes you constantly remember that divinity. This constant remembrance is, according to many teachers, is meditation. So there was one monk, Sri Ramakrishna says, his entire spiritual practices was, he used to come out of his room in the morning, he used to see the waterfall and the beauty around. He say, oh, beautiful. Oh, thou hast done it beautifully. Well done, well done. And he used to clap and he used to smile and he used to dance and he used to go back in. That was his spiritual practice. So here we see that a person has understood the beauty, God's beauty. Love of service. You want to serve. Not only the deity in the temple, but now you're going to serve each and everybody as the repositories or the manifestation of that deity. You will serve others. Loving God as a friend. Yeah, that's wonderful. You know, they say a person who is without a friend is a very sad person. And those who are friends will know. You ask, what is a friend? You will not be able to. You may be able to answer it. You will keep on talking. What's friendship? You'll attribute it to it everything that you can think of. And yet you will not be able to encapsulate what really friendship is. Love of God is something like this. You will love Him like a friend. You know, Swami Vivekananda says, not says, in fact, he used to, towards his later years, he used to call Sri Ramakrishna friend. Sri Ramakrishna had passed away, say. He used to go friend. That's why in our hymns, every evening we have Thou art the friend of the lowly. So God is a friend. And those who have had a lasting friendship, they know what it is. Again, it's an aspect of love. So you will be friendly to all beings and everything in nature. Nobody will get frightened of you. Nobody will doubt you. Loving God as a child, one of the highest aspects, that God's glories and all these things have become eliminated. Oh, God is the creator of this universe. All these things that is shown of this glory, and I love God like I would a child. Like there are no more barriers. And this is what happens. Loving God as a spouse, a husband to the wife, wife to the husband, this is the highest form of love. It's called a Madhura Bhava. And there also there is no kind of division. Absolutely. So love also manifests as such. Love of self-surrender to God. We know what it is. In love, there has to be a surrender. Otherwise, there will be no love. The love of complete absorption in God. Like you want to be one with the object of love. That's what it means. The love of the pain of separation from it. Like if you're separated from the reality, you know how painful it is. If you are separated from God, for us, most of us are already separated. Where are we connected? No, but we are connected. We have forgotten the connection. And we think we are separated from God. It cannot be. So, these 11 forms are actually, I'll put it like this, they cover the entire gamut of relationships. You must have a relationship with reality, with God. And it will take this form. Why does it take these 11 forms? Well, according to me, at least, depends on what other element is within you. Suppose you have an element of knowledge or jnana. Then love will take the form of to become completely absorbed in God. Because the jnani, that is a person of knowledge, the jnana yoga, the Vedantin, they say jiva brahmayava napara. So the individual soul is nothing but Brahman and not any other thing. So that person wants to just lose his or her identity in Brahman. When karma is mixed with this superior knowledge, superior devotion, then it comes the love of worship and love of service and constant remembrance, etc. Because these are activities, you see. And when there is an element of yoga, then you would like to completely self-surrender. I want to surrender to the higher power. Because yoga is, if you can ascend to the higher level only by giving up the lower ones. Otherwise, you cannot go higher up. And then if there's a traces of bhakti within the superior bhakti, then it becomes love of God's beauty, and then love of God, pain of separation, etc. All the various different relationships. So each one of us has got trace elements of either this. Sometimes some people have will. The willpower is very, very, very strong. So that devotion or superior devotion will manifest accordingly. Not only these karma, jnana, bhakti and willpower, etc., yoga, but also it depends on one's accumulated past karma and knowledge. So all of us come to this world, all of us, with something that we have worked for, something we have acquired. Nobody comes like, as I say, tabula rasa, that's a clean slate, and then you write on it. No, that's not. So every soul has traveled and has come with certain acquirements. That is, the person has acquired things, and bhakti will then manifest through those channels. In this world, every one of us, every soul is unique. You will not see two souls similar. Even if they look similar, you'll see that they're dissimilar in everything. And yet there's a unity, of course. And that's why Achintya Bheda Bhed, this is one of the philosophies in Vedanta. So it is, Achintya, that is, you cannot clearly define, but it's there. There's a difference in the undifferentiated. So all souls have come year after a very long journey and has picked up many things on the way. So what the Bhakti says, the 11 forms, I would put it like that Bhakti will manifest in innumerable forms. Each form of the soul will manifest its own uniqueness, its own unique path to God. And that 11 forms have become an infinite number of forms. This is the secret of love. You follow your own path. You actually are following your own path. So we come, pick up things, and we keep on growing and growing and growing. Each one of us is different. Everybody wants to lump us all together for convenience sake. But we cannot be lumped together. Each one has got a distinct path. And we grow according to this. This is the inexhaustibility of the supreme love. Because if love was only, okay, you do this and this and this, is that all? Yeah, if you will get the reality. Is that all? Yeah. So it will be just exhausted. Love will be exhausted with only one type of spiritual discipline or one type of, you can say, prayers or something like that. No, it cannot be. It's unlimited. It's inexhaustible. It can take in the entire world. And not only the entire world, it can take in innumerable worlds. That's the one thing that it's not a point of discussion here, but what I want to stress is it can take in every type of mind. It can take every type of individual existence. It can take any type of approach, and yet it will be full. This is the nature of supreme devotion. It's not only just 11 forms, but infinite forms. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We'll take questions here. There's one here. We'll take this up first. What was the kind of devotion that the gopis had for God? Well, it's called the sweet, the Madhura. And the gopis, the milkmaids of Vrindavan, they represent souls. And it's a soul's attraction for Krishna, God. When Krishna used to play the flute, it's not only the gopis used to leave off all work and come running, but the entire nature had become kind of maddened. So when you hear that sound of the flute, that is, you hear the voice of God, you give up everything and run towards it. So it is one of the highest forms of expression of love, Madhura, the sweet. They say all other spiritual, devotional attitudes merge into this. And Yes, it is. Swami Vivekananda says, if those who have even a least trace of impurity should not try this. So it's just pure love. But ordinarily, the allegory is the gopis, the milkmaids of Vrindavan. They used to drop everything and run towards Krishna. It is the soul that is running towards God. So that's the larger picture. Okay, do you have any questions here, or we can take the questions down? I know you look at
all of us have, we are three gunas, Sattva, Rajan, Tama. So love also could be Sattvic, Rajasic and Tamasic.
yes.
So am I right to say that only Sattvic love can be shared to God?
No, the question is, we have the three gunas, Sattva and Rajas and Tamas. Sattva is joy and light and love and happiness and knowledge. And Rajas is passion and activity and pushing and pulling. And Tamas is the dark side. Everything is kind of dull, the dark, the criminal things. And the dark things are all kind of tamas. So bhakti also depends on what that person's mental and physical state is. The bhakti will also manifest similarly. Ideally, it is the sattvic type who will feel bhakti and feel that attraction towards God immediately. But Sri Ramakrishna also says that one must have the tamas on sattva. It's like the highwayman. He says, the highwayman, these in India we had these thugs. They were called thugs. They used to worship Kali, and yet they used to rob everybody, on the highway, on the freeway. So they used to come out with a loud shouting and roaring and fighting and this and that. And they used to call Jai Kali and all that. Kill, hit, murder. So he say you must have that kind of great, you can say, energy. So when a sattvic person is saying, what? I'm a sinner? I cannot be a sinner. I'm pure. Must have that kind of will. So he has said that you can have bhakti, you can mix them. And Rajaguna, he says, what happens? That person will like to have very elaborate, you can say, offerings to the god or the goddess and all these things. So you can predominantly, you're sattvic, but you can also incorporate the other, you can say, attributes of tamas and rajas. You see, what happens is, if the mind is selfish, it will not even think of God. Sri Ramakrishna himself says, the moment the mind is becoming unselfish, you start thinking of God. So when there are many non-believers, we know what it is. We interpret it like this. Those people they're thinking only of themselves. The moment you keep only thinking of yourself, my problem, my backache, my this, my that, you cannot think of God. Impossible. And this has been known for thousands of years. The moment you start becoming unselfish, you become loving, you look around, you have situational awareness, you start thinking about God. In whatever form, you thinking of a reality. So this is what the whole thing is. Sometimes you cannot have, most of the times you cannot have the sattva guna constantly. because our body is composed, and body and mind and nature is composed of these three gunas, which is composed, nature comprises them. So, so one turns into the other. When you're trying to sleep at night, it's tamas that prevails. When you're going around and going to work and all this, rajas prevails. And when you're trying to sit down and meditate, sattva prevails. But one will be predominant, the others also will have their own contribution to this. Is it normal for the bhava to change from time to time? Like thinking of oneself as child of God and sometimes talk to him like a friend? Yeah, it is not. Let's have a variety of, you can say, attitudes. Sometimes you want to think of God as a child, sometimes as a friend. It's good. But again, like I said, one has to be predominant. Because the very idea of steadfastness leads to bhakti. Bhakti leads to bhav. It's a steadfastness. One must be able to have steadfast devotion to one idea of God. In the initial days, you might have multiple, you can say, attitudes towards God. But stick to one. And then, yeah. How does bhakti exist in non-duality, or is the means to non-duality? It is a means to non-duality, as I've mentioned. It is also that which is non-dual. As I mentioned, it is the Vedantins say, Asti Bhati Priya. That which exists shines. That is consciousness. And that is by its nature love. So reality has been mentioned as love. And we use this love as a means to reach its culmination. In the talk also said that it is also the root of all creation, the root of the mind. So you reach there, and yes, there it's all love. Many Vedanta, non-dualistic Vedanta teachers speak of it as Ananda, bliss, Sat and Chit and Anand. So that which is love is bliss. So it's the same thing. So I hope this, yeah, just follow your heart. Okay. Yes.
Would it be, I guess, a fair character, differentiating between bhakti and bhava? Is bhakti more cultivated and bhava more natural?
Yes. So yeah, the question is bhakti and bhava, the difference between bhakti and bhava. Bhakti is cultivated and bhava is more natural. Yes, that's a nice way of putting it, because you have to start cultivating. It's called a preparatory bhakti, preparatory devotion. It's called gauni, the preparatory, the secondary. And like you have to kind of, okay, you do repeating God's name so many times, maybe fasting, or maybe kind of going to a temple, or going for a pilgrimage, or helping others, something like that. You know, all these things are just put into place to hedge a growing plant. So it is cultivated. But one thing you must learn, you already have love. Now you are directing it to God. So that is cultivation. You already have the raw materials, but now you're making a kind of a new house with that. And as that bhakti matures, then it becomes bhava. Bhava is, as I say, it's a different realm of existence. Those who have been following some of my talks, as I say, like in the case of Gopala's mother, she used to see with her eyes, this eye, the baby form of Krishna. And the baby form of Krishna is to play with her, pull her hair, pull her sari, sit on her lap, pull her rosary, frolic around, help her cooking. Now she is looking at all these things, experiencing all these things. Only she is experiencing it. The people nearby cannot see that. Of course, Sri Ramakrishna could see it. So, is she seeing these things with her physical eyes? She has already transcended the physical limitations. She is seeing with the eyes of bhava. The body has become transformed. The mind has become transformed through this bhava. It is through this purified body and mind that she can see these forms of God. People say, can you see God? You practice it like this. From the bhakti level, go up to the bhava level, you will be able to see it. Then mahabhava, in there, that is a state of, as you say, deep samadhi, great bhava. And there you'll get prema. As I said, it's a rope that one takes to tie God. There you have God tied. God, she will come and dance for you if you want. Dance for me. Dance for you. Sing for me. Sing for you. And there are hundreds of saints in their lives. You find them, God is helping them even with their housework. As working as a miller. You know, in those days you had those two kind of grinding stones. You put grain in the hopper and God is doing that. My devotee is taking my name. Let him, I won't disturb him. So he's sweeping the courtyard and this and that. So that was that extreme form of love. God becomes, as I mentioned, first it is the devotee which runs after God. Then there comes a time when God runs after the devotee. Okay, role reversal. We can take some of the questions on. So next Sunday, we will have Vedanta's concept of intelligence. Okay, so we had enough of love. Let's have a look for intelligence now. Wednesday, we have the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna at 7 a.m. Thursday, towards the goal supreme, Swami Brahmatmananda, he gives a class, online class on Google Meet. For the link, please go on to the website. Friday, again 7 p.m., we have householder disciples. We just completed M, who was a recorder of the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. Next, we are going to take up Balram Bosu. He was one of the great householder disciples of Sri Ramakrishna. This evening, we have the Vedanta devotional group singing at 4 p.m. So Raka comes with her chosen few, and we also join in the singing. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu. Another 14th, July 14th, we have Mother's Luncheon at the retreat. Those who want to attend it, please join. Register on the website. We have Swami Medhananda, who is one of the assistant ministers at Hollywood. He will be coming in to give the talk on Holy Mother. So it's a beautiful topic, and we'll have the rest of children doing a skit and there are classical music, etc. there, and with a potluck luncheon. Thank you very much.